Welcome back, everybody, to Sports Talk. Here we go on a Thursday afternoon. 3 big hours coming your way today from Southwest University Park here at the West Star Bank Club, getting ready for Game 3 of the 4-game set between the El Paso Chihuahuas and the Las Vegas 51s. We've got a lot to talk about today. We're taking the Lubingo studio on the road to the West Star Bank Club at Southwest University Park. Want to remind you once again that with the 11 convenient locations at Lubingo, today is Ladies' Day, so all the ladies can save 15% on all of your vehicle preventative maintenance needs at any Lubingo location every Thursday. We've got Sal Montes back in the studios. He's producing the show, screening your phone calls, delivering our Sports Center updates. You can chime in on Twitter at 600 ESPN El Paso and also at 600 ESPN El Paso on Facebook, as well as online at 600ESPNElPaso.com. What a treat to get things started today. It was just 2 nights ago that this man performed in front of a sold-out crowd at Southwest University Park. His second time to see the El Paso Chihuahuas and delight the fans, but everybody in El Paso knows that he's been coming here for quite a number of years, and we're always excited whenever we can spend a few minutes with the one, the only, the famous San Diego Chicken himself, Ted Giannoulas. And Ted, first off, I'm sorry we didn't get a chance to do this before you came to El Paso, but I'm so happy we're still having the opportunity to talk to you once again after you performed here Tuesday night.
I appreciate the invitation to be on with you, Steve. Thank you.
Now, you've actually performed in front of fans at 3 ballparks in El Paso, dating all the way back to your Dudley Field days. But I've got to ask you, the last time we spoke to you was before you had performed for the first time at Southwest University Park. What was your reaction when you had a chance to see El Paso's newest ballpark in downtown El Paso?
Absolutely magnificent. And I got to tell you, even when I speak with players about it, even they're impressed. It really is something. It's and the field, boy, oh boy. When I was there on Tuesday night, that field looks like a billiard table. It's so beautiful, so smooth. I've got to say, it's the best looking field that I've seen in all the minor leagues this year. Just fantastic. So a tip of the hat to the entire organization for everything that they're doing there.
You know, when you look at the way things are right now as far as minor league baseball with the new clock that has everything timed and realizing that you don't have as much time between innings like you used to, does it have any impact on your performance knowing that you might not have that extra 30 seconds to a minute between innings?
Not too much, Steve, but you know what? As I was experiencing the time clock, it did feel a little awkward and unusual for me. You know, baseball is more of a leisure type of sport, being played during the summer, which is a leisure time of year, and there's so many baseball games and such. And but I don't know. It just felt a little awkward for me as a fan watching it, because I got the sense that sometimes pitchers and batters have certain strategies. They're playing a mental game between each other, and sometimes even they need a few extra seconds to kind of like plot their strategy and instead of hurrying up and getting the next pitch out there. So I'm one of those guys that looks at baseball a little more like a chess match between a batter and a pitcher that I really enjoy. And sometimes getting a few extra seconds jump on that decision, I think it just doesn't fit the game as well as I thought it would.
You know, it's a great point you bring up, and since part of your act is coaching first base for the Chihuahuas, and I think they scored 3 runs on the inning when you were actually coaching first, you probably were able to experience that clock a little bit more because you saw how batters had to get into the box quicker, pitchers had to deliver quicker, and the game is definitely it speeds it up.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does a little bit. But, you know, let me tell you something. As a lifelong baseball fan, let me just say this. If the major leagues really want to speed up the game all the way around, I have a question. Why do they put the bullpens 2 city blocks away from the mound? Now, when you think of it, of all the pitching changes, and there always are lots of pitching changes nowadays in modern baseball, a lot of pitchers have to walk 2 city blocks to get to the mound. Now, they could just as easily shorten that space if they put it, say, in foul territory, like they did in the old days, and cut down on the long walks that these pitchers have to make. But I think, and let's not forget this either, as well. As media has become an important part of the game with the television rights and the radio rights and all that sort of thing, one of the things baseball doesn't talk about, of course, is that, they've added a little extra time to the commercial breaks to get a few extra advertisements in, which, has to be done if they're going to pay these large rights fees. So, it basically cuts both ways, and watching it as a baseball fan, I can be accepting of it, but when you get down to the point of the batter and the pitcher having to stay in place to get the essence of the pitch in, that I think encroaches a little more on the game than perhaps it should.
It's a good point, because really, even in the new ballpark, you have the visitor, I guess it's the visitor bullpen out there in the outfield.
Right.
And the home bullpen is kind of down the line. And you would think about it that if you had them both down the lines the way they used to do it, it'd be an easier walk to the mound as opposed to having to come all the way from the outfield in to essentially get your warm-up tosses in.
Sure, like Wrigley Field has it, for example, one of the old ballparks. Many old ballparks have had it. Here in San Diego at Petco Park, the bullpens are even farther away. I mean, they're way behind the outfield fence, and it's a heck of a walk to get to the diamond. So and nobody's driving the pitchers in, and sometimes, as you know, pitchers like to take the long stroll, and can't blame them for that as they prepare. So it's very interesting. That takes some added time as well.
It sure does. The famous San Diego Chicken, Ted Giannoulas, with us on the show as we continue here on Sports Talk. I remember the last time we spoke, one of the cool things about whenever you come to town is not only getting a chance for the fans to see you, but a lot of the ball players, I'm sure, enjoy it because they were kids going to the games and remembered seeing you when they were little, and now here they are one step below the bigs, or in some cases, they've been big leaguers trying to get back, and they get a chance to see you again, which of course brings back their childhood memories.
Yes, in fact, it's funny. When I was goofing with some of the Las Vegas Stars players, they told me they saw me as a little kid, and they got a kick out of it that now they get to be associated with part of the show, for real. It was really something to see, and I got to tell you, Steve, baseball's got the best sense of humor of all the sports, no doubt about it. But to see the reaction of a lot of these players is really endearing to me, I must say, let alone the fans. The fans are absolutely fantastic, needless to say. It is just so enjoyable. When I was in El Paso on Tuesday night, not only did I meet fans who brought their kids when they saw me as kids, I actually saw some third-generation kids. There were people who are now grandfathers who brought their kids, and now they're bringing their grandkids out to see the chicken. So, it's amazing. I guess I'm dating myself in effect, but overall, I just want to tell everybody I still feel like a spring chicken at heart.
Well, that's the best part. And I think I was talking to my wife watching you Tuesday, and she said to me, and it was a great question, she said, how many people have played the chicken? And I said, one. It's one guy. I mean, and she found that hard to believe. She said, there's no way it's just been one person all these years. And that's part of the beauty, I think, of what you've been able to accomplish.
Well, yes. Just about every year, people say, are you ever going to franchise yourself? Are there ever going to be multiple chickens? I would never do that. I could never do it as like a department store Santa Claus, because I want the fans to know that when they saw me on television, or if they see me in some film, or if I'm on YouTube, or basically if they read about me, they can know, hey, it's just that one guy. I shook his hand. I posed a picture with that guy, and so that there's credibility in the character, as opposed to, like I say, a department store Santa Claus, or like a Easter bunny that comes out and they're all over town, during Easter time. So I think it just, like I say, it just helps the credibility of what I do.
Ted, I don't disagree with you one bit, but I really wonder when it comes time to hang it up for good. That was one of the questions that I'm sure a lot of people are wondering about. Would you ever want to have one particular successor to just carry on the tradition, or when you're done, is the famous San Diego Chicken done?
You know, it's interesting, Steve. I've been approached by reality show people about doing a series of shows about looking out for the next great chicken, the search for the next great chicken, and I turned that down. So, but to answer your question, when I'm done with it, you know, I used to think I would take the costume and go off into the sunset by myself, never to be seen again. But I got to tell you, a lot of fans have told me that the legacy has got to continue, that after all these decades that I've been performing, it just can't just disappear. It's got to continue, like Mickey Mouse or Bugs Bunny. In that regard, I think that the character has got to continue, and so the day might come, you hand it off to somebody, but I don't know when that day might come.
I think that'd probably be the toughest, probably the toughest part of your career would be finding someone that you could actually deem the successor to the costume that would have the same amount of pride and just love for it like you have had all these years.
Well, there's been speculation in the past, Steve. Teams have approached me to see if I might be interested in turning over the character to them when I'm done. And so I don't know. Maybe it's a possibility for a media company one day to take it over, or like a Hanna-Barbera or a Time Warner. Who's to say? But I've got a few things planned in the future that could materialize that are very, very promising and could take the chicken to a whole different level. But that's not to say that one day, if I decide to hang it up, there won't be some major league team that says, hey, can we sign the chicken as a free agent and continue the legacy for our team? So who's to say what's the future to hold?
We're talking right now to the famous San Diego Chicken, Ted Giannoulas here on Sports Talk as we roll through here on this Thursday afternoon from the ballpark, getting ready for El Paso, continuing their series with Las Vegas. I know your schedule is not nearly as packed as it's been in the past, and I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of El Pasoans are so fortunate to still see you perform, because the fact is you don't do as many dates as you used to, and yet because of your relationship with this city, with baseball, from the days of Jim Paul till now, you still give El Pasoans that opportunity to catch a glimpse of the famous chicken.
Oh, yes. I've really cut back my schedule over the last few years, as you've pointed out, Steve. I used to do 250 dates of the year. And here's the thing. I could still ramp up my schedule and pretty well come real close to that if I wished. But, sometimes, as you go on, you want different life experiences. And all these years, I never really got to enjoy much of a home life as I was traveling around the world, performing everywhere, just about every week. And so I've really cut back my schedule now. But when the invitation came in from the Chihuahuas last year to come in for this summer, I jumped at that. And there were a few other cities that reached out, and I was willing to come in for them. But no, I just don't put together like more than 100 cities every summer like I used to. And even though I could probably still do that if I reached out to teams and put together a network of tours, that could still happen. But I just have to dial it back a little bit and, as they say, smell the roses a little bit more.
Ted, how did you and Jim Paul first hook up back in the 70s?
Believe it or not, we were brought together by a general manager of the San Diego Padres. Bob Fontaine was a general manager of the Padres in the 70s when he was on a scouting mission to El Paso. And he gave me a call, and he says, hey, listen, I've got a friend in El Paso. His name is Jim Paul. I was on a scouting mission there. Would you give him a call? He's very interested to have you in. And I said, for heaven's sakes, that's unusual. I've never been to a minor league park. I had been to just major league parks for the first 5 years of my career. And so I called up Jim. He says, we'd love to extend an invitation for you to come and perform in El Paso. I promise you a great time. I promise you a wonderful audience, and you'll just love this city. So I came in, and it was everything he said it would be. Fantastic. We had an overflow crowd. It was a crazy night, tremendous laughs. The fans couldn't have been better. In fact, the manager of the team, Moose Stubing, the famous Moose Stubing, he was the guy who suggested I go coach in the coach's box. And get this, Steve, it wasn't first base. He sent me to third base. And he relayed the signals to me to relay to the batters in the batter's box as to whether to take the pitch or hit the pitch, believe it or not. And I was really nervous. And there was even an instance where I had to send a runner on a base hit, rounding second, going to third, and heading for home. And I sent him in to the plate, and he was called out.
Oh.
But it was a great time. It was a bang-bang play at the plate, and the dugout was laughing, and it was, like I say, the last home game of the year of 1978, and it was a crazy time. And let me tell you, I've never coached third base there again because I would never do that again. Too much responsibility. But when I coach at first base, at least I don't have to signal to the batters or send them home on a play. So, but I still remember that first night and how wonderful it was.
That's an incredible story, and I was going to ask you if you'd ever coach third again, and I'm sure after that you probably said, I've got enough trying to entertain everybody. The last thing I need to do is worrying about trying to win a baseball game.
That's right. That's right. But thankfully the game did not matter in the standings at all, and but it was, that shows you the atmosphere and the attitude and the camaraderie of that night. That Moose Stubing, actually, the manager said, "No, I'm sending you out there, and you are going to coach third base." And all the players, it was an Angels farm club at the time, and they said, "Yeah, coach third base for us, Chicken." Oh man, I want to get my signals from you, from the coach's box. And so Moose would relay them to me, and I would relay them to the batter. A crazy night.
Ted, when you attend sporting events these days, especially events that have mascots, is it a little different for you to watch them perform? Do you see them differently because you've been doing this so long, or are you able to just experience a game like the rest of us can and really just enjoy things from start to finish?
Well, yeah, it's interesting to note, Steve. I see them as a fact as all my children. Because in the time that I call BC, before Chicken, there were no mascots for any pro teams that I can even think of. None, zero. But I've started literally this entire cottage industry, and in the wake of my success, so to speak, and it's been pointed out for me that because of the success of the Chicken, not only do all these other sports teams now have mascots, but even the Olympics make a big deal out of it. Even the World Cup makes a big deal out of it, and so do a lot of other organizations and companies that even aren't sports related, and it's all because of what I started back in the day. There were always college and high school mascots, but it was kind of a benign thing. But nowadays, just about every college team and pro team markets their mascot with a sense of merchandising and almost like it's the ambassador of the team. But so when I see a game, it's almost like, and they show a mascot in a way. It's kind of like a tribute to what I began. But also, I enjoy some of their antics whenever I see some of the characters pop up.
I want to mention your website. It's famouschicken.com. That is, once again, famouschicken.com. And I want to point out that the website has a little bit of everything. Great YouTube videos. It has a kids zone. It has a photo gallery. But it also has a store. And if anybody missed the Chicken on Tuesday and didn't get a chance to get an autograph, you can actually get a personalized autograph through the website, a variety of 8x10s. You've got the bobbleheads. You've got all the merchandise you could possibly ask for. But I love the fact that you've really priced the autographs so affordable for people, because I'm sure for you, it's never really been about making money. It's been more about making memories.
Yeah, absolutely. I just wanted to make it very family friendly. A lot of times when we go to the games, the items are so low cost, a lot of people actually shake my hand and say, thank you. This is refreshing. I mean, I can buy something for all my kids, And so I just want to make it, I just want to round out the evening to be enjoyable for everybody, and to me, it just adds the capper to the evening. But I sign everything, and it's interesting to note I never turn away a single autograph request. If the fans wait up for me at a game, I will wait up for them, and I will completely exhaust the line, as I did last Tuesday. We had a long autograph line. In fact, the lights went out at the stadium, and I was still signing there for everybody, but I enjoy it. I got to tell you, I enjoy it, and I don't, unlike some of the Major League ball players, I don't let the bat boys sign my autograph for me. I sign every request that's put in front of me.
What's the craziest thing you've ever signed all these years?
Oh, can we? I don't think I can talk about it on the air, Steve, but I'm just kidding. Let's put it this way. I've signed a few chests. and let's see. As for artifacts, I've signed things like golden medallions and real gold medallions, and let's see. Special baseball cards. I guess that would do it. It's great. I've signed everything from shoes and skin on people. Faces. Some kids come up and they say, "Please sign my face," and I have to tell them, "This is magic marker ink. This is permanent ink. It's going to take a little extra scrubbing to get it off." And they say, "I don't care. Sign my face." So I guess faces are the most unusual, almost like a facial tattoo.
It's great stuff. Ted, I'll tell you what, I'm so excited that we've had you a chance to spend some time with you today, and I really hope that as long as you keep touring, El Paso continues to be a stop every season for Chihuahuas baseball fans.
I appreciate the kind thoughts. Thank you very much, Steve.
Ted Giannoulas with us, folks, on our Village Inn hotline, where all of our guests always appear, the famous San Diego Chicken. And once again, you want to go to his website, you can do so at famouschicken.com. We'll come back, plenty more from the ballpark. But right now, Sal's back with SportsCenter.